Lord, I know you've been so good. Lord, I know you've been so good. You watched over me all night long. Lord, I know you've been so good. Oh, Lord, I know you spared my life. Lord, I know you spared my life. You know I could have been dead, sleeping in my grave. Lord, I know you spared my life. Lord, I know you've been so good. Lord, I know you've been so good. You watch over me all night long. Lord, I know you've been so good. Lord, I know you made a way. Lord, I know you made a way. I could have been dead, sleeping in my grave. Lord, I know you made a way. Well, you've been good. You've been good to me. You've been good. You've been good to me. You've been good. Lord, you've been good to me. You've been good. You've been good to me. You've been good. Lord, you've been good. I know that you've been so good to me. Oh, Lord, I know you've been so good. Lord, I know you've been so good. You watch over me all night long. Lord, I know you've been so good. Lord, I know you made a way. Lord, I know you made a way. I could have been dead, sleeping in my grave. Lord, I know you made a way. Well, you've been good. You've been good to me. You've been good. Lord, you've been good to me. You've been good. You've been good to me. You've been good. Lord, you've been good. I know that you've been so good to me. Good morning, beautiful people. It's your girl Bev this morning on the Flower Bev Show, where we try to inspire, motivate, and encourage everyone to have the butterfly mentality, meaning although you may be dealing with a lot of caterpillar struggles in your life and things that you may not quite understand, the key to striving to get through those hard times is your perception of things and your perspective and how you look at things and how you're able to think more positively above the way that you feel, even though you may feel negatively about it. So that's what I try to incorporate in my day to day walk and try not to be a hypocrite about it. Some days it's harder than others, I will admit, just to keep it real. But I'm very grateful for the days where I can feel as though I am trying, by God's permission, to keep my head above water. Good morning, Brother Jill. Good morning, my sister. That song is inspiring. I'm working on the job. Need to hear that about now. Yes, it's one of my old school favorites. It's one of my old school favorites. So I love it. Good morning, Sister D. Good to see you here. Oh, I love the butterfly. It's been a really felt like a long work week, which is quite funny because we only had 4 days to work this week, but it felt like a very long week. But I'm grateful that I was able to make it through. Was not too much hassle, right? Um, I hope everyone's week is going well so far. I didn't want to hold you long today. I do have some things coming up soon as far as those that are going to be on the show. But I wanted to talk about traveling today. Like, I was just thinking, like, I've been talking that I needed to get away, I need a vacation. I just really want to be by myself for a little while. And I just feel like now is the best time to like try to plan those things and get those things accomplished because everybody needs time to themselves to rejuvenate, time to, reset, time to, get clarity on things that may not be so clear at a point. Hold on one second. Let me drink some water, y'all. I don't know why my voice is like not good. But I feel like everyone needs that time in their lives to set aside time for them and them only because sometimes we as adults have so much time to do other things for so many other people, so many other things, and we don't really take the time to be able to explore in this life. It's just so many things that has transpired, so many people that I know that aren't doing their absolute best physically. And as you think about these things, you be like, man, like, some of these people are up in age, and I'm not saying that I'm going to live to see their age. So I'm praying that I will live a very long and prosperous lifestyle spiritually and naturally. But I will say that I do not want to have any regrets, that I did not take the time for myself, that I did not travel the world, that I did not, take those moments and those opportunities to do something outside of my everyday routine. My everyday routines are to always strive to put God first, to always strive to do the right thing, to always strive to, go to work and be an honest worker, go to church, be at home with my family, just do the things that I should do. But I also want to take the time to do things that maybe aren't at my disposal right away. Set aside some time for those things because honestly, when I first started in the medical field, I never took a vacation. I mean, never. I never went on vacation. I always went to work. I never called out if I could help it. Only time I called out was I had to be extremely, I'm talking about extremely sick. I would go to work not feeling good. And then I would end up leaving early because my manager would be like, listen, like, you're not feeling good. What's wrong with you? Go home. And I'm like, I really don't want to go home. I want to work. And then it hit me one day like, you got to stop. You got to stop doing that. Because you know how many people work so hard till they work themselves into the ground and then they cannot work at that job anymore and they are replaced within the blink of an eye. You have to make time for you. You have to make time for your family, of course, but you also got to make time for yourself. So many people, like I myself, I've been an aunt since I was very young. So I've always had nieces and nephews, and I've always had siblings. And I've always grew up in a very big family. I've always grew up with the mama mentality, like, the nurturing type and all those things. And now that I'm, you know, working and a working adult and I've spent like all of my 20s just trying to make sure that I'm there for this one, there for that one, doing this, doing that. I say to myself like, "Oh my gosh, like you got a passport. I got to find it first, but you have a passport you don't use, first of all." And I'm like, "What do you have it for?" Not just that, but the United States has beautiful places too. Our own country, even though it may not be the best as far as political aspect, but as far as um, and even spiritual aspect, it's not the best because you know all this other stuff that's going on is just insane. But the bottom line is, America has a lot of beautiful places you can explore, you can go to for a weekend, and it's on my mind and heart to visit every state, to go somewhere that's either a landmark, whether it's historic or whether it's a popular tourist area or an uncommon area that people don't go to explore. I want to go to each state. Of course, I want to intertwine that with going out of the country, but I do want to travel to different places. I want to get on the road and drive, and I'm not talking about with everybody and their grandma either. I want to do it alone. I want to do it alone or with people that I really truly do trust, that I can have a really good time with, that I don't have to worry about being on their time or they being on my time, none of that stuff. I want us to just be able to relax and enjoy ourselves and really be able to be positive minded, have fun, eat good food, tell crazy stories. Like just being able to travel with a small amount of people and myself and, just one on one with maybe one other person that I want to travel with, but I don't want it to be something that I take lightly. I want it to be something to create memories, something to be able to put in like a scrapbook. And, we take pictures on our phones all the time, but I'm one of those people that get pictures printed. I still get pictures printed. I love Shutterfly because Shutterfly would allow you to print pictures and things like that and memories, and I do have those things. I actually have a lot of stuff in my cart that I need to print actually. But I love to keep those things because it brings memories. You want to look back on those things 20 years from now, God, by God's permission, and you want to be able to see what have you done over the span of your life. You don't want to see pictures in your youth that is just you and I'm not saying that, we don't need to give God his time. I definitely know we have to give God his time, but the only pictures I want to look back on, I don't want the only pictures I look back on to be church pictures or work pictures. It's like that's beautiful, that's nice, that's wonderful. The saints are my family, but I also want to explore other parts of the world. You know, off season. We know that this is going to be an event here. Okay, we're going to go here. We're going to go to this event. We're going to go to this church event. We're going to have a great time. We're going to take pictures. Great. Now, on the off weekend of that, I want to be able to go somewhere else and take pictures there, still striving to live the exact same life. I ain't trying to drink no bottles, no none of that. I really want to strive to do the right thing no matter where I go. And I just want to be able to not limit myself to just the same routine over and over. So all the places that I've heard people talk about, all the places that people have mentioned, I'm like, man, like, okay, well, all right, well, let me add that to my list. I need to go to that city. I need to explore that city. So they do this here. Okay, well, I want to go to that city. I think Williamsburg and Frederick, no, in Virginia, they have a place where people dress like back in the day. You can't even drive into the city, and you literally it's horse and buggy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to go explore that. One of my coworkers was telling me about this like a decade ago. I don't even know if they still do it, but I want to find out more about it and see what's going on with that and see what I can do and see if I can go and explore that. That's only a few hours away. That's only a few hours away. Sister Tania, good morning, Sister Tania. Good morning, those that are coming in. That's one of my desires. Exactly. Sister Darwinika says, true. Make and create those memories. Looking back on them stirs up gratitude. Exactly. Like, it just allows you to not be so closed minded because sometimes that can truly allow you to basically keep your mind in a box. If you've never been anywhere, all you know is your little world. All you know is your little bubble. All you know is your little space. So that allows you to respond to life in a very closed minded manner. That allows you to respond to life in a very, you explore, when you get out there in that world and you see different cultures, you see different communities, you see different ways of living, you see different ways of speaking, you see different ways of acknowledging one's presence. You can do something so different. Our hello is hey or shaking of the hands. Somebody else may do a hello with a greet with a kiss, or someone else you may not be able to touch them, you may not be able to hug them, you may not be able to do anything within their space, but just a simple or just a simple head nod will be an acknowledgement of someone's presence, and that's respect. You just want to be able to open your mind up to a world that's bigger than yours, and that's my desire, to open my mind up to respond. You can see how someone responds to certain things. Over here in America, we say, yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. But to someone else, that may be an insult in their culture. Because in their minds, why are you saying that? Like, it should be this to an adult, to an elderly person. Even the way someone dressed, the way that someone dressed is different based off their culture. So I may have on this outfit, and this may be appropriate in certain areas. This shirt may be appropriate, but somewhere else they may look at that shirt and be like, no, we don't dress like that. We dress like this, or we wear this, or we wear that as women. And it's just so amazing to me to be able to open up a new world in your minds. And that really, truly affects the way you do things sometimes, not being so closed minded. Seriously, because I'm telling you, traveling to me has its benefits. It has its benefits. I mean, you can learn so much by just traveling. Don't get me wrong, you can read books about going different places. You can read books about different things, but actually having that experience says a lot more because you can, yeah, well, I read this and I read that, but experiencing something for yourself, it's equivalent to like reading a book about somebody's tragedy and how they handled it and how they went through, and you're like, yeah, man, I read this and I read that and I read this and I read that. But when you experience your own tragedy, only you can tell your own story and how your experiences came about and how you were able to do this and do that and respond to this and respond in that way. So I feel like having different experiences in your life where you're going allows your mind to open up way more than what it used to. Think about it. People really didn't travel like that as much. Certain people didn't travel as much unless it was like going to war or, just simple things. And now we have the opportunity to go by plane or business. People going to war, doing different business and stuff. But just to go because you can. Now, if you can't afford it, I understand that. So you need to me, I would set a time. Okay, this is June. God willing, June of next year, I want to go here. So how much does it cost to get there? Okay, it costs maybe $1,000 round trip for me to go to this country. Okay, well, let me start saving. Okay, how much money do I make? How much money do I need to save up per paycheck to get there? Okay, so that's the flight. All right, after I pay for the ticket, all right, where am I going to stay? How much is it going to cost me to get there? Okay, so this is what it's going to cost me. I mean, to spend the night there. Okay, so if I stay for a week, or if I stay for let me not go for a week. Let's do 4 days instead, because I can afford that more. So if I do 4 days, I can stay here. I can stay there. I can. Oh, okay. Well, all right. So I need to save up maybe about $2,000 altogether, so I can have food and I can have money to shop and I can have money to stay, or maybe two $2,500 or 3,000 or whatever the case may be. Oh, let me look at the currency, because those are things too. You got to look at the currency. You got to look and see how much money is America's money going to be worth when you're in a different country. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. I think when I went to the Bahamas, it was equivalent. Like I didn't have to worry about. Yeah, it was equivalent. I didn't have to change anything because that's like American soil now. They have McDonald's and everything. I know people have McDonald's and stuff, but I was just like, wow, like I would have known that. Somebody could have told me they have McDonald's. I'm like, for real. But because I experienced the Bahamas myself, I was like, oh my gosh, like it was, that water was, and I mean, people can tell you all day long. You can see it in movies. Good morning, sis. We're just talking about traveling and how it, and I believe how it really helps you develop a different mindset on certain things, and it can open your mind, because some people can travel all day long and they still be narrow-minded. Um, and it's one thing if it contradicts what we believe. That's a whole nother ball game. But if it's just simply knowledge on how somebody lives and just how you should treat people based off of their culture, I think that's a really good thing. But just not allowing time to go by without you exploring different parts of the world and different parts of the United States. But just me going to the Bahamas, like, I've watched movies where they've been in airplanes flying over, um, my phone hot, yeah, flying over the water that was beautiful. But until I went to the Bahamas myself, I was like, oh my gosh. Like they were serious. Like that's really real. Like this water is really that clear. It's really that beautiful. Like, oh my gosh. I had and yes, it was a virgin daiquiri. It was virgin. It was not alcohol in it. It was a virgin daiquiri, and I can tell y'all no lie, it was in the Bahamas. I have never in my life eaten anything. Well, had another Dak America. I was really disappointed. I was like, I was like, this food, this authenticity of this food, this virgin daiquiri, I've never experienced anything like that again. I mean, somebody didn't want this, and I was like, I'll take yours. And I'm normally not that type of person, but I was like, you don't want that? Oh, I'll take it, and I sure did. I drunk every last drop of it because it was so good. And me and my sister was talking about when we came back to America. We was like, man, we'll never find nothing that good. We will have to go back to the Bahamas to get that because certain foods, certain things, certain cultures you will never be able to duplicate those things in those cultures. You will never be able to duplicate those things in that culture that you ate, or I ate something, I don't know what it was in the Bahamas. Nobody else wanted to eat it, which kind of scares me because I literally was the only one that ate it. But it was so good. And I still don't know to this day what it was, but I ate it. Sure did, and it was great too. Um, it was some type of meat. I don't know what it was, but it was so good. And it's just yes, Susan and the kids, okay, wonderful. I love to travel. Bahamas wasn't a bad trip or flight at all. Got to go back. Exactly. But I actually want to go to places like Germany. And the reason why I want to go to Germany is because when my dad was in the army, I'm a daddy's girl. Yay. And my dad talked about Germany. He talked about how beautiful it was. And this was back in the 70s. And he was talking about how beautiful it was. And he was talking about how it wasn't segregated and it wasn't separated. He was like, it had Germans on the sign. It didn't have different type of Germans. It just had Germans. And he was talking about, how it was really lovely just to be over there in another country. And I was just like, wow, like I want to visit Germany. That's one of my places I want to visit. I want to visit Italy. That's another place that I would love to visit as well. And I have my reasons because my Walk in Me shoes, they're made in Italy. They're made in Italy, and it's real Italian leather and real Italian suede. So I would love to go over there to Italy to see exactly where it's made. Now, if I find out that they made it at a sweatshop and that kids are the ones making my shoes, then I definitely got to stop, making my shoes from them, making my shoes through them. But I don't know if that's the case because they're actually a big company. Alive Shoes is a big company, and they want people to come in for different parts. They're actually hiring, actually. Um, it's amazing. Good morning, beautiful people. Those that are just coming in, I'm talking about traveling. And if you want to, put in some places that you want to travel and tell me why you want to travel there. If it's not too personal, tell me places you want to travel and tell me why you want to travel and tell me when is your goal of trying to travel there. So those three things: where you want to travel, why you want to travel to that place, and what is your goal of trying to get there. Even if you've already been there before, you may want to go back. Um, but feel free to put in the comment section where you would like to travel. I think that's very important. I think it's a beautiful thing to want to travel, to want to get up out of out of America. I know some places I want to go I want to go to Canada, and I think it's because we have saints there. I really want to go to Canada, but I definitely want to go to Germany. I want to go to Italy. Dubai, they said that's the most romantic place in the world. But at the same time, they said you can't show affection in public. You'll get fined for showing affection. That's what I heard, but I don't know how true that is. But I would have to experience that for myself. Get married or whatever, and you and your spouse go over there and you can't hold hands in public. You can't even hug that person without being fined. That's something different than over here. But they say that's the most romantic place in the world. So it's kind of like, what do you mean by that? I guess the views or what you see. Um, I don't know if anybody else has heard that about Dubai. Feel free to chime in. But just being able to hear stuff about a country, but being able to experience those things about a country, to me, that's really, really important. I love stuff like that. Um, Let me see. What's another place I want to go to? People talk about how hot India is. And for some reason, I don't really get along well with heat, which is why during the summertime I'm really sad about being in the South. I really am. But I would love to go to India. Let me see. Where else would I love to go? Japan. I would love to go to Japan because of the fact that they said they're more advanced than they are over here. Like technology is advanced over there way more than it is over here. We're behind. So I want to go see it. Let me see. So some Nakia said, I would love to go to Australia and yes, to meet the saints there. Don't know if I'll be able to make the upcoming trip. The flights are very pricey. Exactly. That's what I heard too. See, Brother Bill, we on the same page. Another very nice place is Japan. If you have never seen a Pebble Beach, one will be really surprised how scenic it is. Wow. Okay. I would love to see it. Let me see. Sister Rachel, good morning, sis. She says, good morning, Sister Beth. One of my plans is to travel to America. Yeah. You have so many beautiful places there. Exactly. That's why I say I definitely want to explore America myself. Sister Nakia, her response, Australia. We got Japan. We got America. And let's see. Sister Dominica said, I would like to go to Germany as well. I went in 2014. My son was only a few months old and was back here in the States. So I did. So I really did not enjoy my time. Oh, I hope to go back there with him someday. Absolutely. You should make it happen. Seriously. Seriously. I think any place that you would like to go, you should try to go. So y'all see my list is long. Okay. So I'm hoping that I can start writing down where I want to go, why I want to go, and try to make that happen. At least once a year, I want to go out of the country once a year if I can, and then try to explore different places in America. But that just depends upon where I'm at and what I'm doing, because I could always make it twice a year that I go out of the country, because you can do short trips. Somebody was telling me there are travel groups, black women that travel, probably black men that travel too, and probably other travel groups. Not trying to relate it to race, but I've heard about that specifically. That there are travel groups that will go with you and travel out of the country. People you don't know, but you kind of meet them or whatever, and y'all get together and y'all go travel. And so I think that's very nice too. My thinking about it is I don't know if I will be okay with traveling with people I don't know, but it may be safer than traveling with no one at all. Because if you can travel with people, they know your name, they know where you stand, all that good jazz, and you can see they have the right intentions. You don't have to worry about feeling unsafe. I don't know if y'all seen the movie Taken, but that kind of shook me up a little bit at one point, and I was just like, wow, like yeah, it's not safe necessarily to travel to these countries alone, because people are sex trafficking and drug trafficking and doing all these things and taking women and smuggling drugs and selling them for ransom. And outside of America, these things are happening in America. They're happening inside of America as well. So you got to be careful everywhere you go. You have to monitor your surroundings, and you have to be very alert. Never to share. Like one thing I learned from the movie Taken, as a woman, never tell anybody where you're staying. Never share a taxi cab with someone you do not know. And always tell someone where you are staying. Tell them where you are staying. Tell them the number to call. Tell them information about the surroundings once you get there. Take a picture, or as the taxi cab drives away, I would not even get dropped off at the area that I'm staying if I'm in a taxi cab. I would not get dropped off at the area. If I'm by myself, I'm getting dropped off. Even if I'm with a couple people, I'm not getting dropped off at the place. Oh, drop me off right here. And I'm going to walk and look like I'm going in one place, and when that taxi cab, and I'm going to make sure I get the plate on the cab, whatever I need to get. Like, seriously, like, I'm not even playing. Like, I've become a mini detective, like, okay, drop me off right here, and I know that that's like 3 blocks from where I'm staying. So I literally will, maybe I'll get dropped off at a store, or, another residence that look like where I'm going to be at. But you just can't trust anybody. Then I find my way there by foot, or somewhere where it'll look reasonable where I can get there. Riding public transportation might be safer. And what I mean by that is if they have a train, or if they have, like when we was in the Bahamas, we rode the bus from one side of the island to the other. We was in Nassau, and that made me feel so good, because it's like we went to another hotel that was not ours, and we explored there. Then we came back down, and I just feel like it's so wonderful to just be able to not um, ride in something that's just me and this person that I don't know, that could take me anywhere and try to drop me off somewhere, or pay attention to where I'm going, and then come back and try to ruin my life or ruin my family's life by taking me away. So I think it's like really important to like just be careful what you're doing and how you're doing certain stuff. So it's really like things you have to, especially these countries that aren't, like Spain. Like I want to go visit Spain. I really do, because I heard that Spain is really nice too, and I really like Spanish too. I love to speak Spanish, but I definitely don't want to, go over there alone. go over there where these places are really known for like sex trafficking and drug trafficking and things like that. And you just really want to be careful where you're going and where you're headed because you just never know. You just never know. And here you are in this country by yourself for the first time, and God forbid you never return to your own country and you're sold to somebody somewhere else that nobody can ever find you. It's really scary sometimes, but that's why going with people that you trust and people that that got your back and you got their back, and you're not trying to go out there for no fling and trying to get to know somebody and then you end up somewhere you never thought you would be. Um, so just traveling with the right intentions, traveling with the right company, someone that's gonna truly have your best interest at heart. That's why I was like, travel groups when I don't know people might not be the best idea, but it could definitely be more safe. But just giving people your information, telling people my dad's laughing at me, y'all, because he's outside working on the car. He's laughing at me because I'm out here sitting outside of my car because my internet was acting up. That's why I wasn't in the house today because my internet is acting up. So I had to find, which I may do this from now on, just be in my car doing my videos because in the house I get kicked out. So I don't want to do that. But I think it's a wonderful thing to travel and to get to know the world that we're in. It wasn't made for us just to only know one piece of it. That's how I feel. I feel like it was made for us to really truly explore and to get to know different areas of it, for the good, not for the bad, not for anything malicious or not for anything crazy, but simply for the good, to have knowledge, to have experiences, to take time to get away and clear our minds and clear our heads and clear our hearts. It's so important to take time for yourself and to travel and to go through the different days in life, but at the same time have a place in your heart and in your mind that you want to go to just so you can get away from your everyday things. Some people just don't take that time and then they get older or they get sick in their young age or something happens or somebody passes away and then people got all these regrets. They wish they would have spent more time. They wish they went to go visit this one. They wish they would have done this. They wish they would have done that. And if we start now, look at the pandemic. So many people have lost loved ones. So many people are still sick, and it only have nothing to do with COVID. Sometimes it's just simply the people dying, people getting sick, having strokes, having heart attacks. You know, just car crashes. Just so many things have happened that I have known about in the last 2 weeks that has really been like, oh my gosh, like Lord, thank you for your mercy, thank you for your grace. Help me to take advantage of my health. Help me to take advantage of the ability to get in my car and drive safely from one place to the next. And I really think it's really like amazing just to take time and just walk away from every all your obligations. The only obligation we should never feel the need to walk away from is God. Everything else and everyone else can wait. Like life is just too short to be wrapped up in everybody else's world and working so hard to the point where we don't even know when the last time we even took a break. And I think it's important to have those moments. Life is just too short. Life is too short, and family, and it's not even just family, it's friends. It's not even just friends, it's associates, just, places you want to go. Family is not always close in reach. Sometimes you may not even be close with your family. But the point of the matter is you have the opportunity to be able, and I'm not trying to like toot my own horn, but me, I like to throw certain family events for my family. And one thing that I am trying to do is do the Jurassic World movie as a family event. If y'all hear my dad in the background, he's talking to somebody on the outside of the car. Y'all probably saw him walk in the back. But one thing that I am doing, I planned a family movie day. So next week, God willing, if everything goes well, we're gonna go as a family. I want my dad to come. I'm trying to do stuff like that. I want my dad to come, and I know he wants to come because it's Jurassic World, like Jurassic World, and we've watched all of the Jurassic Park movies. So I I'm like, y'all, like we gotta all go. So I invited all my sisters and brothers. I invited my nieces and nephews. The people in my life that are very important. I invited them as well, and I want them to come along with us, with me, And I don't think my mom wants to come because she don't like movies like that. But everybody else wants to come, and I was like, Mom, you don't want to come with us? She was like, I don't want to watch no movie like that. And it's so funny because I really do believe her now. We were watching the last Jurassic World one the other day, and I mean somebody was getting mauled by that dinosaur. My mom was like, what kind of mess are y'all watching? Like, oh my God, like I don't want to see stuff like that. It was so funny. We just started busting out laughing because I thought it was funny. But I'm doing like a movie thing where we're just gonna get together and go to the movies and watch a movie that we have been watching for years, and you know, just the series is continuing, and it's so beautiful. Here we go. Did I not go out, you guys? I did for like 2 seconds, did not. So that means I'm gonna slowly bring this to an end. But